Welcome everybody. Today I'm gonna be walking you through 3 thematic middle games that I played on my speedrun account. The goal of this video is to develop your understanding and general feel for the position so you won't have to rely on much memorization at all. To give you a quick overview of the main themes, we'll be going over White's main responses to the e5 push. Plus, in the last game, I'm gonna teach you how to deal with those spoiled brats who refuse to eat their broccoli as a child. Because now they come over chess.com and manifest their degeneracy by not taking the center. Simply unthinkable behavior, I know, but don't you worry, I got your back. So, if that sounds like something you're into, let's dive right into the actual games. Alright, everybody, back with another well, appears to be King's Indian, 1800 rated opponent from China. So, yeah, the Chinese opponents are notorious for their tactical awareness. But we'll have to see whether my opponent fits the category or not. So, okay, we have one of the main starting positions of the King's Indian. I can castle or I can play d6. Normally, d6 it's most flexible in case he goes bishop g5. Slow variation. We can benefit from having delayed castle because we can go for this bishop chase with knight h5, and it's nicer to push those pawns without having committed with your king over there. But we get none of that. He plays e4, and I am gonna castle. And now he has a choice between h3 or bishop e2. He goes bishop e2, and okay, time for my pet line. So e5, very well established move. This is what Gary Kasparov was playing in his prime, Bobby Fischer as well. Well, why would you follow true champs when you can play like your favorite patzer from the internet, Alex Banzea? You can go queen e8. So queen e8 actually has many nice things about it. So it's cutting a lot of the theory. Also, it's avoiding the queen trade after DE, and already it puts white in a very tricky position because we're threatening to take and then pick up pawn on e4. And if they play d5, this is actually not such a great move for white, and most of the white players go for it. The point is, okay, only way to fight for an advantage is DE, but even those positions are incredibly tricky. I have a lot of juicy ideas for black. This is a very kind of new meta line. So after d5, the point is now, okay, before going for the King's Indian stuff, knight d7, f5, we can do a5. So first, we do knight a6. And this is super effective because it's dramatically slowing down white's queenside play. So normally in the King's Indian, by the way these pawns are placed, okay, let's say we normally focus in this triangle and they try to push on the other side of the board, like here. So white will try to do b4, c5. That is their ideal way to break. So a5 really plays against that, and on bishop g5 we can do h6. Yeah, normally whenever bishop goes there, you can question it. I can also ignore that's true. I could do knight a6, knight d7, because bishop is not really effective as my queen is already on e8. I can easily unpin. It's just a matter of, do I want to play h6, bishop e3, knight g4? Do I want to enter those? Not super sure what to say. I'm gonna go h6. This is usually what you do on the bishop move. But yeah, it goes bishop d2. This is very interesting. Like, some people really do this bishop d2, queen c1 type of thing. But I don't think queen c1 was really anything special. We just would have defended the pawn with king h7. And then follow our typical stuff. And okay, so he does a3. Now, normally there is knight d7 idea, but he can play b4. So we need to be aware of that, because after AB, there is no knight takes on b4 because our rook would be hanging. So in order to stop his b4 idea, we can go knight c5. Attacking e4, probably only move queen c2. And then we can try to slow him down on the queen side with this a4 move, which is honestly pretty strong. So This is a very interesting and typical middle game position where we could just go ignore, but I feel like you need to get into this habit of first stopping white's counterplay if you can. So imagine he gets to play queen c2, we play a4. His queen side is completely frozen after this key move, so he can never play b4 due to the en passant. And I can easily support that pawn. And once we have frozen the queen side, I mean, then we just have a free hand on the other side of the board. So he's not gonna really have much counterplay. He can just play a waiting game. Okay, so he plays knight b5, threatening this, but he's pretty much weakening e4. Now, my queen initially was developed on e8. I can go back to d8 or to e7. The question is, will I want to play bishop d7 and allow this in the future, or do I go queen d8 so that I give myself opportunity to play bishop d7? Okay, pretty tricky to say. I'm just gonna go queen e7 because normally it feels like the more natural move, having rooks connected. And okay, he just went back, so he's just not doing much. I can finish development with the bishop to d7, reinforcing the pawn on a move like bishop e3, which I guess will happen soon. We can reinforce the knight with b6 to take that way. And okay, rook e1. I would like to just focus on the typical kingside play, but also I wanted to let you know that you can watch out for knight b3 ideas as well. Like knight b3, rook d1, and then knight d4. Because as Bobby Fischer said, whenever he was getting knight on d4 in the King's Indian, he would make at least a draw. So that's a pretty good thing to go for, I guess. But yeah, I feel like I'm a huge fan of the stability that we got. So yeah, I'm a family guy. I don't think we need to risk our very stable family here on the queen side for like some kind of career opportunity. So I'm just gonna play maybe simple knight h7 f5 or knight h5 f5, one of these two moves. Uh, Normally, if we don't have this, you can do knight e8 and then push. But if already we have h6, knight h7 is nicer because potentially you could activate the knight via g5 as well. I mean, not saying necessarily that would be best move, but it's a nice little extra option. So going knight g5, if bishop e3, b6. Oh, he goes queen c1. So he's going for the cheap trick, but we have a pretty powerful way to defend the h6 pawn. So please feel free to pause the video and find the most efficient way to protect the h6 pawn. Because queen to c1 is actually vulnerable to knight b3 fork. We can go and take the exchange, but I feel like we have such a powerful position. I don't even want to take his exchange. I'm just gonna go knight b3. I'm gonna force the queen to move away. And I feel like I'm just gonna go f5. I'm just gonna play attack. Sure, that's there. It's best move to take, I'm pretty sure. But I think it's more instructive if we just go attack. So I want to play f5. If ef, okay, quite funny. Almost his queen is trapped. And on rook d1, yeah, he saved his rook, but now he's getting trapped in the King's Indian triangle. That's pretty nice. That's like the thing that you arrange the balls before playing billiard. This triangle, what is it called? I don't know. This is like a billiard triangle right there. That's pretty nice. And yeah, okay, now we're just about to unleash the attack. So break will happen with g4. h5 g4 is next. So my knight is shutting down any counterplay. Okay, can I just go h5 and g4? Yes, sir. I don't know what knight a2 is meant to do. Oh, it's meant to try to fight with my knight, but now I have g4. So this is very instructive because this is just very slow. Like knight b3 I can take and I win a piece. So he's just getting slowly caught in my billiard triangle. And now I get to take and hit the knight. And once the knight moves, not only I have endless attacking opportunities to bring the queen, yeah. queen and g3. But also, I can get the Bobby Fischer knight. So, I feel like, we have to get the Bobby Fischer knight. And then maybe just f3 right away. So I could do f3, g3, or queen h4. All of these moves are equally tempting. Yeah, I think queen h4 with the threat of going g3. Because knight f3, I mean, I could take and then infiltrate with the queen on h2. But also, I could do queen h4 and then knight g5 maybe. And then g3 comes even stronger. Wait, do I need to worry of queen h4 g3? Maybe that's a bit annoying. Okay, how about f3? f3 is like the more direct way to do things. But yeah, I feel like g3 is such a weakening move. It cannot be good. I'm gonna go here. g3, I feel like maybe just queen h5 and then the knight comes in. So yeah, queen h4. Big g3 alert. And yeah. I can feel that my upstairs neighbors are about to start some construction working. Hopefully we can finish this game in time or we're gonna get hit with the deadly drill. Hammer drill. I don't know what that's called, but you guys probably know the sound I'm referring to. Okay. Anyways, he plays g3. Now, initially I wanted queen h3, but then there is bishop f1. So I need to make a queen move that's still defending this pawn. So I don't want to take because queen takes and his queen is able to come into the defense. So I have to choose between g5 and h5, but I liked h5 better because it still allows knight g5 as a move. So ef, gf, it's not a problem because the knight is defended by the bishop. And he has so many pieces that are doing so little. It's actually pretty insane. His pieces are completely pointless. Yeah, and okay, imagine f3 gets played, bishop f1. We can just like swing a rook onto the h file, and that's kind of all she wrote. Yeah, like, okay, so takes, but yeah, as I was saying, I can just recap. This is protected. I don't know how that helped. Yeah, if you guys think that when I explain this game, I hit the nail on top, you haven't listened to my neighbors. I think that's where I'm taking that from. They're very good at hitting nails all day, every day, for the last month. Okay, anyways, we get bishop to c3, so he's attacking here. I can go knight takes. I mean, I have to do something with that knight. I cannot do g3 because I lose my queen. So yeah, I think that's a move that I cannot really negotiate for not playing. And then maybe I just bring this knight. Okay, so his knight is there. So f3, knight g3, queen h3 is something to consider, but there is queen f1. So yeah, I feel like just knight g5. Also, taking looks pretty good, but yeah, not very clear to tell. So I'm just gonna play the move that feels more natural, which is knight g5, just letting him take, because I don't think you should be afraid of check. Wait, what? I mean, I'm gonna take the knight. Am I missing any tactic? Oh, I can already go in. Yeah, so I have takes, but I can already go in. Yeah. Now f2 is getting too loose. Has to do king g2 to like avoid the fork, but his king is gonna be too exposed. And okay, now after he sinks the queen, well, we're gonna be able to get mated. I mean, to deliver the checkmate, not get mated. We're not getting mated in the King's Indian. Nobody has ever gotten checkmated in the King's Indian. Come on. You guys can't tell me that you got checkmated in the King's Indian. I won't believe it. And now we have cool move, rook f3. Now he takes pawn takes, threatening checkmate. So bishop still hanging. Okay, all in all, if we manage to convert this in time, I think it's pretty instructive. How we slowly squeezed my opponent with the Bobby Fischer knight combined with the billiard triangle. So we just got the little dark squares triangle, push the pawn, h5, g4. Okay, now he just mated himself. Congrats, opponent. Wooden spoon for him. I don't have it here anymore, but maybe we should bring back the wooden spoon. We need justice for the wooden spoon. Okay, I can take with the queen or with the rook. I'm gonna do it this way. Lining up bishop h3. Has to move the rook as it's under attack. And then this. That's gonna be a checkmate. So, yeah. I mean, computer is gonna hate the fact that we haven't taken that free rook. Honestly, I don't really think it's such a big difference. Like, if you look at it, see, even computer likes f5 better than taking the rook. All right, everybody, back with another blitz game this time. I'm gonna be going for King's Indian. It's just been pretty rough to get rapid games going. So we're gonna complete the episode with a blitz one. So opponent plays bishop to f4 line. The most precise is to do d6 first and then castle. Opponent goes queen d2, which is kind of like a common way of doing it. Going for a bit of a premature attaculation. He may be willing to do this kind of thing. Now I have a choice. I can either do e5 right away, which is one of our main pawn breaks. Especially when the bishops are about to get traded off, placing pawns on the dark squares while keeping the light square bishop is a pretty sound idea, so I'm gonna go for it right away. No need to prepare it. He goes for the trade. That's a bit unexpected. Will he go for the endgame? I'm honestly eager to play the endgame. It's gonna be a fine endgame. It's gonna be crucial whether he plays with e3 or e4. So now he has to do bishop trade because it was hanging. And yeah, I'm not so sure about that one. This is what I was referring to when I said he needs to be careful with the e-pawn. Because after this move, he's basically creating a big hole on the d4 square. So I'm just considering to dive right in. I mean, can we? Are we allowed to? Is this something we can do for YouTube? Okay, if not, I could also just do c6. And go for a slower maneuver. The c6 plan is basically stopping any knight d5. And we're saying that, okay, something like knight a6, knight maneuvers via e6, and ultimately reaches d4. I have a feeling this should be better just because he's behind in development. He did this time-consuming maneuver with queen d2, bishop f4, bishop h6, bishop trade, queen trade. And, you know, if you do like 1 million moves with 2 pieces, yeah, you may get caught behind in development. So bishop g4, very important move. Okay, this was crucial since, okay, you have normal square for the bishop, but you need to understand the most important factor on the board, which is the d4 square. So we're going bishop g4, specifically to get rid of the only defender of the d4 square. So we're going to take, and then we're going to jump into the d4. d4 is like a jacuzzi for a horse. So yeah, just chilling over there for a little bit, threatening a fork. He's probably gonna castle or go bishop d1. Yeah, bishop d1, not bad. He's willing to exchange this knight, but it's gonna take him a bit of time. I'm just gonna do c6 now. And this is really one of the most instructive King's Indian themes that I really remember when I first learned it. It was completely eye-opening. There's a big difference between d4 and d5 square, because white never gets access over it, thanks to the c6 pawn. And this square is already to our control, which is, yeah, gonna be honestly quite enough to win the game just because you control this square. All right, so I would love to maneuver and teleport this knight to e6. Can also double up. He may be trying to do some f4, some activity. I'm gonna start like this. On f4, we have f6 at the very least. Can also take. We're preparing, yeah, one of these moves. Preparing to play knight e6, since he's about to try to exchange it anyways. We need a bit of a backup. So, yeah, okay. Takes and knight e5. It's probably the best play, because he's gonna have an isolated pawn. Could also go for the very slow plan, but yeah, I think this is just too good to not play. Getting knight on e5 with tempo, he has isolated pawn, bishop is passive. Now he can no longer try to exchange, because that would allow us opportunity to trade and infiltrate. And we'll have a monster knight against a bad bishop. So remember, bishop is bad because it's of the same color of its own pawns. If this was like a dark square bishop on e3, white would very much be okay. But with light square bishop, he is not. Okay, so d4 square is amazing, but I don't see how to make progress, so I'm gonna move the knight so we can infiltrate. Planning to rook d3 because I want to double up the rooks and I also want to gain tempo simultaneously. So this, rook d8 coming next. We'll have to speed up a little bit because we only have 30 seconds left. Forgot this was a blitz game. I got a little bit too caught in the strategical aspects of these, but yeah, position is very good. Rook c3 is a massive threat because the rook is overloaded. Notice that rook is defending two pieces. This means the rook is working two jobs. Well, it's inflation, but still, he doesn't seem to get away with that. Okay, I'm going to try to get the pawn all the way to h4. If we could teleport the knight to g3, that's going to be a mating net. Okay, that's defended, and that's a free rook. Thank you, opponent. Gonna do this. Okay, h4, why not? Oh, goes for the trade. All right. All right, time to convert the extra horse. Okay, we're about to promote. 18 seconds. So yeah, the game kind of sped up a little bit in the last couple of moves, but I definitely find this to be a very instructive free positional win for the King's Indian. Because yes, like King's Indian is attacking opening, but yeah, you can just get a lot of fine strategical wins just because low rated players, and I'm talking anyone below 2000, like this is really the most important theme that I used during my career, starting from like 1500 all the way to international master. But all the guys that were below 2000, you're pretty much able to beat them because they're trying to trade queens, go for an endgame, and you need to know how to exploit the weakness of the d4 square. All right, everybody, back with another rapid game, and the opponent seems to be playing d4 c4, so I guess that it's gonna be time for another one of these. Gonna be going for the King's Indian, and okay, opponent plays knight f3. Knight f3 is delaying a critical decision, so the biggest question for white is whether he's gonna play with e4 or not. I could castle. but I'm gonna start with d6. I think generally playing d6 before castling is the most flexible move, but okay, honestly, in low elo games, it's not really gonna make that big of a difference, but it gives you many extra interesting options to delay castling sometimes. So bishop f4 just gonna be castling. Bishop f4 normally has to be combined with e3, and here we go. But on e3, I'm gonna give you my secret sauce. All right, my secret sauce that it's gonna save you tons of fury. So e3 means he's not taking the full center. So when he's not taking the full center, you don't have to rush with striking in the center. We can basically just chill here in our little three lines and go for the double fianchetto. This is my idea to simplify the whole strategy when white doesn't take full center, which is, by the way, very common for, let's say, these games below 1800 online. So, gonna finish double fianchetto. And yeah, always you see pawn to e3, you can double fianchetto. Notice that knight goes to d7 because we want to have this bishop active. And I'm gonna play d5, which is interesting move. Having he gone rook c1, it's very nice to go for something like, okay, generally knight e4, exchanging a pair of knights. But also in this position, you can go for the bishop hunt with knight h5. And yes, I know I just said it's a little bit risky to go g5 and overextend, but especially after he already castled short, we're not having that danger of him having the open rook attacking. So here it would be fine, winning the bishop pair, and black is okay, fine, towards slightly better. But d5 is interesting because it's trying to shut down any activity here. And yeah, we're probably gonna go c6 just because it's the most natural move, trying to open it up and activate our bishop. For him now to make sense, probably e4, it's like the best move. But why this strategy is actually so powerful is that you have to understand the psychology behind the white players that do this setup. So they play e3, bishop f4, and so on. These are usually going to be more positional players. They want to sort of minimize their risks. So by playing this double fianchetto, the only way for them to try to punish is to like go aggressive central play. But it's not really how they play chess. And okay, still you have very interesting way to continue. As having a6 b5 on the agenda there. Now rook c1, yeah, thinking to take. The pawn is a bit of a target. I could also still do a6. a6 with b5, yeah, I think very interesting idea. If he goes dc, I take with the bishop. Bishop is active. If not, I just go b5 next. If a4, that's weakening b4, so I'm not so sure about that move. So he ends up playing it. Can I do b5 regardless? That's a little bit crazy. Yeah, I'm thinking to take and just go rook c8. It's probably the most logical. Just to open up the bishop a little bit, get some activity with the rook. And yeah, it feels like including a6, a4, it's a bit helpful for us just because there's no more knight jump. Okay. Or at least that's what I'm telling myself. So, okay, he plays e4, good move. So he solidifies the center. Are we in time to do knight c5? It's not very easy for him to defend, is it? Because queen c2 is a mistake. And queen c2 is the only natural move to defend, because if he goes e5, we can take and then the pawn on d5 drops. Also, maybe knight d2, but knight d2 looks a bit passive. Knight d2 probably lesser evil for white, and I think on knight d2, just because he's about to do something concrete like b4 and push our knight back, I feel like we need to be aggressive and play knight d2 e5. Because after the en passant, okay, I mean, whatever way you recapture, you're gonna be fine. Like knight takes and then d5, and the position beautifully opens up for our bishops. So play z5 instead, which is, yeah, exactly highlighting why this strategy is so effective. It's basically, yeah, just bringing white into our kind of game, and they overextend. So from a very solid position that he had, now it looks like we're simply able to win a pawn. There are gonna be a few complications, whether like he manages to go b4 after these trades and exchange some pieces, but normally this should just be an extra pawn. Queen d4 check, we have knight back, and this we just go for straight up for the endgame. So extra pawn, whether we're gonna convert this or not, I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's just that we're gonna be having a risk-free push. We'll try it, but if not, it is what it is. So yeah, as I was saying, like b4 takes, and then he takes a6 with the bishop. I was having this on my radar when the whole sequence started. Otherwise, yeah, white doesn't have many hopes. But we'll see if he plays it. If he doesn't, I'm considering to just go a5, which is placing our pawns on dark squares, meaning that his bishop is going to be unable to attack them. And he has pawns on light squares, meaning that our bishop is going to attack them. Isn't that pretty genius? Isn't that what you guys subscribed for? Okay, rook d1. Targeting bishop. Where do we retreat? Okay. Remember, even when you defend, you want to defend actively. So I'm going to solve that problem, and I'm going to go after the a4 pawn. So I'm trying to do that with the gain of a tempo. Also, okay, maybe taking on f3 was interesting to simplify. It's just that it's a little bit unnatural to give up your bishop for the knight. Remember that bishops are worth, okay, let's say knights are worth 3 points, and bishops are worth 3.25. Almost the same, but not really. So I know what you guys mean. Like, oh, isn't the knight better? I feel like the knight can deliver forks. So innocent. I love it. I love whenever I see that. Okay, I'm just gonna take with the knight. Taking with the bishop felt like allowed rook c5, although that was probably winning as well. But knight takes, just offering trade of rooks, threatening to check on the back rank. Bishop a6, we get to make him passive. That's what I was thinking. He could also do a luft, but then, I mean, at the very least, b5 type of move, and not having extra pawn, but having two of them. So has to play bishop f1, and now we would love to play bishop c4, but he can just take it with a rook. So I'm gonna go, I feel like knight takes. Knight takes with the idea of bishop c4. Also, I could do b5 with like the same idea. How does he defend? So against bishop c4, his only defense seems to be like knight d2. So if I go knight b2, he goes knight d2. I go bishop c4. He takes with a horse, and that's no good. Okay. Shouldn't be playing that. Okay. What else? Okay, so free pawn, I feel like we gotta take. Rook b4, bishop c4. And yeah. We're okay. But knight d2, maybe just go bishop back, yeah. Bishop to e6, just chilling. Having two extra pawns, no need to try to win immediately. Have a little bit of patience, try to coordinate. Maybe bring the king. Yeah, so knight d2 happens. I don't really see a concrete way, like pinning him, just drops the bishop. Shouldn't be doing that. And now rook b2, I think we have rook c2, counterattack at least. That was kind of the plan. If he doesn't do it, then just b5, maybe next move with knight c4, and the conversion is pretty easy because the b pawn is able to gain some speed. So yeah, f4. Can we do b5? Notice that bishop cannot take due to the pin, and this is now a thing. Rook b4. We're defending the pawn in a tactical manner. Knight c4. Counterattacking the knight. Okay, so king f2. I can go knight c4. Knight takes, bishop takes. So that's offering trades. Remember that exchanging pieces is really the biggest life hack that you can use in this kind of positions. And yeah, I could take with a pawn, but I want to exchange. So I'm going to take with a bishop, just giving him no choice. And very important, I'm going to take with a rook after. Because king and pawn endgames, all of them are winning when you're having at least an extra pawn. 99% to win. If you lose that, yeah, just give me an email. I'll give you a refund in ELO points. And okay, now, because if he had moved the rook, he was losing f4 pawn. He went right into it, but okay, I'm just going to give him the pawn. I'm just going to show you that. Okay, these endgames, okay, a win pretty much no matter what you do. I'm going to play e5 just to like exchange pawns because I want to activate my king. So because the path towards his pawns was kind of controlled by these bad boys, I just want to, exchange them so I can break through by force. So e5, he's going to have to take c3 as a bait. I'm going to use my king and I'm going to take the rest of them. So yeah, this is one of the most standard procedures actually to win games in chess, no matter the elo. You have one pawn on the other side, you bait your opponent with it. Opponent goes like a dog that's trying to bring you the ball, takes the ball, and then, you just trick the stupid dog like that for hours. Then just push. Bam. Okay, he wants that. I'm not gonna give him. Okay, he wants that. Okay, he can have it. He can have that as long as we promote. I don't mind. King f4. Okay. Gonna promote. Now gonna promote the second pawn. Bang. Bang. Open up the path. Set up the barrier. Never mind. He resigned. Alright. Yeah, I mean, critical moment. Okay, let's just pop in a game review very quickly. Got 94. Not bad. But considering how easy the game was from the opening, it's very easy to get accurate game. But yeah, I consider critical moment here. So we did double fianchetto when he doesn't expand in the center. That's like the key takeaway. And okay, d5, he locks my bishop. We try to open it up. a6, threatening b5. Took, rook c8, and now, yeah, he played e4 because, yeah, if he was not playing e4, I was considering some idea, even like rook c7, queen a8. Yeah, like let's say maybe he does some sort of, I don't know, queen c2. No, that's actually losing. Damn it. What can he play? It's not so easy. Let's say he goes h3. I wonder what computer thinks about rook c7 idea. Oh, wow. Computer actually just goes for it. Exchange sack. That's a juicy idea. Wow. Keep that in your back pocket. Watch this. So rook c3. If you take with the rook, you are vulnerable. So taking with the pawn and the knight e5. So if you keep this pawn, I can basically take. And I'm down in exchange, but you got, your position is full of weaknesses. We got bishop pair, and we can easily like target these. So I wouldn't have played this, but I'll keep it in mind for the next games because I'm sure we'll have similar structure. But I would have probably played rook c7. And I'm wondering how stupid of a move is that. Say rook e1 and then queen a8. Okay, has to play e4, not to hang that. Yeah, I'm afraid this maneuver is not so effective when he's able to get the center. So apparently my genius plan was actually pretty stupid, but you guys are a better player and you will play rook takes on c3 in the next game, or at least go knight c5. If you don't have the balls to sacrifice the exchange, go knight c5 and then knight e4 to open up bishop's path. And black is totally fine. So thanks everybody for making it this far into the video, and I just wanted to give you a little disclaimer. In most of the cases, you're gonna be able to utilize this e5 break unless they go for bishop g5, creating this pretty nasty pin. So instead of e5, we have to change our strategy and play with c5. So if you're interested to see how those positions play out, make sure to check out this video. That video. You want to check out that video? Go there. Thank you.